Okay.
Hi guys, my name is Doug from 2+ Stuff, and today I want to talk about one of the most fun topics ever, and that is, can you use your army in Age of Sigmar? Now this is a question that was raised a lot by people who played Bretonnia and Tomb Kings, and a lot of the ones that maybe you don't see War Scrolls for in the app. This is mostly people who are returning players who are trying to figure out what Age of Sigmar is all about. Well, to you, I say welcome. I have links in the description to some of our Get Starting pages for resources for you, things like that. And I want to specifically talk about Bretonnia and Tomb Kings because they are full-fledged armies that are no longer supported by GW in terms of model lines. So let's back up a little bit here. So when Age of Sigmar was released, there was a lot of tension because two of the armies that are very iconic to the old world, as we now know it, the Tomb Kings and the Bretonnians, were actually what people often call squatted, meaning they're no longer produced by GW in terms of model range. Therefore, if you don't have the models for them, you can't use them in the GW store, things like that. And there was a lot of tension. People felt very hurt by it, and I understand that. I don't want to minimize that at all. But what I want to tell you though is that with the release of the General's Handbook, it's a really cheap book, kind of looks like this, and only costs about 25 bucks. What it does is it actually goes ahead and supports all the armies that GW no longer produces. Now what I mean by the support is it has Grand Alliance rules that you can use. So if you're Tomb Kings, you can use the death rules. If you are Bretonnia, you can use the order rules. If you are looking into competitive play, it has points for everything. All those things are still fully supported in terms of rules, not so much in terms of models. So to answer your question, can I use my Tomb Kings or Bretonnians in Age of Sigmar? The answer is absolutely. If you look at the back, there's a section called Compendium. This is just a collection of rules and points values for models that they no longer support in terms of models, but they do support in terms of gameplay. Now, if you have just a few models from things, you can actually go ahead and buff up some Tomb Kings and Bretonnians from other model ranges. Mantic has, I believe it's called Empires of Dust. It's kind of a skeletal Egyptian theme. Obviously, you can't use these in GW events because they have a rule on only using GW models, but for your everyday gameplay, they'll do quite well for you. I also want to point out that Tyler Mengel is a miniature artist and game designer kind of on his own time, and he has a supplement called Endless Deserts, and it's I'll put a link down in the description. You can go ahead and click that, and he kind of made his own Battletome and rule set and fluff for the Tomb Kings in particular, and how they have migrated to the mortal realms. Now if you're a Bretonnian player, first of all, I salute you, and it's a great looking army when it's done really well. And I understand there's some frustration because of how poorly they were supported in 8th edition. Now they're not even existent really in the mortal realms, and I totally understand that. There are points for all your models in terms of war machines like that. They're actually very effective. Actually, both of these armies are very effective at what they do in competitive play. Like I said, if you're a Bretonnia player, there are a ton of resources for you in terms of tactica guides, videos, modeling. You can get knight models from all around everywhere, basically. I know Wargames Factory has quite a collection of great spearmen and things like that. So that's all. I just wanted to introduce myself. This channel is here to support the hobbyists. So if you are one of those legacy army players, I invite you, please subscribe. There's some great content coming down the line. Look at the page notes for all the resource guides for you. I'm so happy that you're getting back into the game. Don't ever feel like your collection is useless, worthless, or anything like that. You have a great army, and I'd love to see it on the tabletop. Thank you so much. Happy wargaming.